You're watching or listening to Walking with the Chosen. I'm your host, Shay Keith. I am so excited to bring you this special podcast today because instead of doing a show recap or even doing an interview, I am talking to some very close friends of mine who just went through something very miraculous. They are very near and dear to my heart, and I really hope that you will stay tuned to check out this amazing story with them. But first, I also want to give you a little bit of information about what it's like for me heading into being a background extra next week, or this week actually, for The Chosen in Utah. I have a few videos of me working on my costume that I want to share with you. They're short videos, but at least you can see how I'll be dressed and who to look for next year when season 6 comes out. Okay, well, let's get started with this podcast. So welcome back. I am so excited that you're here. Today's episode is a little bit different because first you can see that I'm sitting outside. Yay, Missouri finally warmed up. It's Mother's Day and my parents just left. Let me give you just a quick tour so you can see where I'm sitting at. So, sorry, this is me on my deck. I'm going to turn around and see if you can see behind me there. That is Lake the Ozarks. This is my home. This is where I live at, in case you've ever wondered. I love living here. And now I messed up my camera. There we go. I love living here. I have such a great view, and this deck is very nice size, and it's a nice breeze today. I think it's in the 80s, so it's gorgeous. And I just wanted to do something different. I'm also testing out some new mics. As you can see, I'm wearing this lapel mic, and I have a second one that if I want to take it someplace, maybe to The Chosen, and record other people, if I get brave enough. That's what this, I have two of them now, and they plug into my phone, so I could take this on the road with me if I'm brave enough. That's always the $1,000,000 question. But it's just a different way, a different vibe to share where I live instead of trying to have the dark background and try to look all fancy like what or like what YouTubers do. And I'm just experimenting. I like to have a little bit of me in my podcast since you guys like to watch, and I like it to be different. And I know a lot of you also listen, so I'm not taking that for granted either. But in today's episode, I first want to share some videos about my costumes and what I'm creating, and just to show you a little bit of what I've been doing. I should have recorded some video last night, but to be honest, the inside of my condo looked terrible. I hadn't had a chance to clean, organize, because I've been fairly stressed about this trip coming up. And I don't even want to try to set up my camera so anybody can see what I'm doing. But it would have been nice to show you because I did a lot of work on my costumes using double stick tape to tape down some material around the collar. And I also try to fix up the sides because I took a dress I had last year and cut it in half. So it makes, I think they call them a tabard. I might be saying that incorrectly, so don't shoot me. But it's like kind of like an apron. So you have a front piece and a back piece, and then you wear a belt around. And underneath, you're wearing a long sleeve tunic. And I dyed both tunics this year because last year they were just kind of that natural beigey color, which we tea stained. Yes, tea. I said that correctly. Some people coffee stain it. And it was okay for last year being my first year, but I wanted to do something different. All my friends were updating their costumes this year, and I didn't want to be the only one that looked the same as last year. So I dyed both tunics, and then I came up with different things to put over the front of them. And I've been working a little bit more with the headpiece, the scarves that we wear in our hair, because we have to hide our hair. So that's a little bit about what I've been working on. And I've been busy, just typical, always busy. All right, who isn't? And I had a couple of friends that are very near and dear to me, and they watch my show and they listen to my show, and they were in the hospital recently and they had some miracles happen. So I recorded their story because I feel like people should hear this. I want people to have hope, and when they hear their story, I think it will give other people hope of what God can do for us. And they're just such an amazing couple. They're like my second parents. I call them that all the time because they have been very good in leading and guiding me, especially because I was so new to my faith when I first moved here, and they just adopted me in, and it's awesome. I wish everybody could have a second set of parents like what I have that are elders in the church. We don't really have elders in that tradition that some churches have, but they are elders in our church and very strong in their faith and really help me get on a good path of reading my Bible. So if you don't have that, you need to find that person at your church or even in your community if you're not a church-going person that you can connect with that maybe can help lead and guide you in the way of how to follow Jesus. So I'm experimenting with microphones, I'm experimenting with different look behind me, and I'm doing a little bit shorter video. This is actually my second attempt because the first one I forgot to turn this on. I see it flashing, so I think we're still good. I think I still have sound. And I want to show these two videos to you, and then I'll get right into the interview because it's a little bit lengthy. I think maybe 30 minutes long. And then I have questions for you at the end. So if you will stay tuned to the very end and then help me have some answers. I need answers from you all. That's really important to me. So thank you so much for being here and for watching this. And I love to get your feedback on it. And I will catch you after this interview and my two little videos are done. All right, see you soon. Okay, here's my costume. One of them. This is the first one. I took off the sash that I had on because it was too hot. So I braided the hairpiece. Well, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with this yellow, but I made it into a hairpiece and found some fabric that I stripped and put around the top and got my purse, got my sandals, no fingernail polish, no toenail polish, no makeup. And I'm hot, and it's supposed to be like the same temperature or hotter in Utah next week. So I still have to fix the blue cover up. It needs to be taped under where the lace is showing. Haven't done that yet. I have on a necklace underneath this that I'll have to remove, but this should be jewelry appropriate, and same with this. And I can wear this either like this or over the back. This is the back of the costume, and this is number one complete. So now I gotta go figure out number two, but I think this one should work in the daylight, and I like it a lot better than what I created last year, so I feel like I'm a little smarter this year. So that's me from Walking with the Chosen. Okay, so back to costumes. This is costume number two, and I have some issues with it. So who knows, I may just wear the other costume all 3 days and forget this one, because this is a table runner that you can see that I made it look natural and everything, but it's too long. So I need to adjust the length. But the other problem, for some reason in the front, it just keeps collapsing down. In the back, it's pretty much staying all the way across like I want it, but in the front, it's like this. So the pictures I even tried to take didn't even turn out very well. So that's an issue. I guess I could go buy fabric tomorrow that's the same color, and then it wouldn't do that. It's just this cheesecloth material is not cooperating, and I didn't even look at Hobby Lobby when I was there today, and I really don't want to go back to Hobby Lobby, and they're closed tomorrow, so I'll have to trust that Walmart has the color that I need. But these are the colors that I picked for this costume. It's got a little purple in the necklace. I don't think that's gonna be an issue. This one's got earrings. This bracelet actually is from Africa that one of my condo unit people just sold in our garage sale. So thank you, whoever sold that. And yeah, so this is costume number two for being on the set with The Chosen next week in Utah. So thanks for watching. This is my third attempt of trying to come up with this costume. Well, second, I guess, for this color. So this is now costume three. Costume two, I'm gonna chuck up as a fail because of the way that material laid. So this is gonna be the costume I think I'm going to wear with this tunic, and I think it turned out okay. This was one I actually wore last year, but this time I cut it so that way it's open on the sides instead of trying to wear it like a dress. Didn't look as good. And I probably need to do something with the neckline, but I think it turned out. So this is the new costume. And again, jewelry. I didn't put the earrings back on, and I can wear this in front or in back. Kind of make it look like you've got hair this way if you wear it in front, I guess. And yeah, so I think this one's gonna work. So thanks for following along with my journey as I get ready to go to The Chosen, and thanks for watching.
They took him down on Wednesday morning and did an echo. And in January of this year, the echo was 55, which is normal. It was 45. Mm-hmm. And he was feeling so bad. I had taken him on Tuesday to the doctor to his regular appointment, and they laid him down on the gurney, the bed thing at the doctor's office, and waited 10 minutes, took his blood pressure, and then sat him up and took his blood pressure. And they said, uh-oh, you need to go to the hospital.
It dropped significantly.
Just from sitting up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, "Uh-oh,
You need to go to the hospital."
Hospital directly.
So he's at we're at the hospital, and so now it's Wednesday, and we found out the results of the echo, and that was really sad. But you know, life is life, I guess. I was trying to tell myself that. So then later that night, I can't remember what happened that night. Wednesday morning, they hooked him up to some medicines to drain the fluid. Yes, that's what it was.
18 pounds
In
of
about
water.
13 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was,
You must have been miserable.
all night long he was miserable. And then he got a UTI, which he's never had in his whole life.
Oh, no.
And so they put medicine for that. And so then Wednesday, here comes this Dr. Khan. And he's like, well, you're an AFib. And Donald goes, I'm always an AFib. I can't take the medicine because the amiodarone ruined my thyroid and my eyesight. And so he said, when he started saying that, I knew exactly what he was going to say. And then he goes, what time did you eat your lunch? And I said, why do you want to know?
Breakfast.
He says, because I'm going to shock his heart. I said, no, you're not. And he goes, well, he's an AFib. And I said, and that's where he's going to stay. I said, Dr. Krishnan tried 2 separate times, a few months apart, didn't stay, and said, no more.
Okay.
We're not going to do it. So then, later on that night, he left, and he's still going to the bathroom and burning. In the meantime, Dr. Brickner had called Dr. Krishnan, who's on a month's vacation in India, and told him what he was doing with Donald and asked him if he agreed. Because he wanted his confirmation. And he said, yes, you're doing exactly what I would do if I was there.
Good.
And so here comes the nurse, undoes what Dr. Bruckner said, I say his name wrong, Brickner, and starts to hang this bag. I said, what is that? And they said, and they named it. I said, he can't have that. And they said, well, it was ordered, and so we have to give it to him. I said, you're not giving him that unless you want to plan on giving my trach, because you can't get a vent in, and because his head, so he
Because of my broken neck.
Yeah.
It's too closed up.
Yeah, you can't put his head back.
But why would he have to have a trach or a vent anyway?
Because it cuts his oxygen off.
It stops my breathing.
Are you allergic to it or
It
something?
closes, it closes up my
Yeah.
So they wanted to give you something you're allergic to.
Yeah,
Yes.
that closes my bronchial tubes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So I said, you could go look at his chart and you'll see what I'm telling you is true. And if I wasn't here, what would happen? Yeah. So they took it out. I never hooked anything else up again. And then, what was that, Wednesday? Wednesday night. Yes. And Wednesday night when I left, I said, do not give him any new medication, take away from him any medication, change his pills, add to his pills, cut his pills, dilute his pills. Don't do anything.
Yeah.
Leave it exactly the way it is, and absolutely no tests without my approval.
Mm-hmm.
And I have power of attorney to say it.
Oh, good.
So I come in Thursday morning at 8 o'clock. They're wheeling him out. And I'm like, what in the world is going on? They said, well, he's having a stress test.
Nuclear.
I said, no, he's not. And she said, well, he's already signed for it. I'm like, what? And they wheeled him away.
So you signed for it?
Yeah.
Why?
I wanted it. I wanted to know what I wanted to find out what's going on with my heart because I knew it was getting worse.
So you're sneaking that in without Sue knowing about it? Is that
Yeah,
true?
but I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
Just
he
kidding.
would not have
So-
done it if I had been there.
No,
I
I
would have
wouldn't
said,
have.
Donald, what
But
are we
see,
going
I-
to do if they find
I-
something wrong?
I had that
Nothing.
test 20 years ago, and it made me feel warm, and my breathing got real hard for 2 minutes, and then it quit.
Okay.
So I thought, well, no big deal.
So he gets wheeled away.
So he gets wheeled away, and I'm sitting here, and I think Mike and Debbie came in, and they said, "Why are you sitting here? It's a 3-hour test. Go run an errand. Go get a drink of caramel frappe or something good." So I'm like, okay. So I went downstairs, and I was by the elevator, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw him wheeling a gurney, and I'm like, poor guy, whoever it is. And then I looked, and it was him.
Oh, no.
And then all I could see was a tube across his face, and I thought he had a tube down his nose.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have had it. So I go back upstairs, and they were wheeling him in a different area, so I was able to catch him before he went in his room, and he's just laying there, like
Like passed out, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm
I
like,
couldn't talk. I couldn't
I'm
open
like-
my eyes.
Donald, how are you doing, honey? He didn't answer me.
I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't.
You knew
say-
she was trying to say
Oh
something?
yeah, I could hear everything,
Uh-huh.
but I couldn't talk, and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't open my eyes, and I couldn't see. I talked.
How long was your stress test?
Oh, he didn't get the whole thing.
Oh.
The stress
got the-
test
the-
was probably more than a half an hour.
That was the beginning. That's not the
Beginning.
stress part.
Oh.
And then they put the medicine in, and then they wait, and then they
This-
give you
when I
the
put
other
medicine in
pictures.
when I had my
Yeah,
This
that's
thing.
real bad reaction.
Oh, wow.
So we get up. They wheel him into the room, and he's still miserable, but he's getting to where he can make a sound and maybe open his eyes a little bit. But I wasn't paying attention. I had this circle of nurses, and I'm like, I told you last night, and I was so mad.
I could hear her yelling at him.
I wasn't yelling. I had my voice raised, and I'm like, I told you, every one of you, Dr. Khan doesn't have a clue. Why would anyone do that?
So Dr. Khan was the one making all these orders?
Yeah, all changing everything. Gonna kill him with the medicine. Gonna kill him with the test.
So why is Khan jumping in and doing all this when you've been talking to the other?
Because our doctor's on vacation.
But the other one,
Now there's another one too.
Khan is the heart guy.
oh.
So he's
Yeah.
taking my heart guy's place while my heart guy's in India.
So who's the other one, the God-fearing man that you're talking about? That was, what's his name?
Oh, he's the hospitalist.
What's that mean?
It means the doctor for the hospital.
Like a generalist,
Yeah,
more or
I guess.
less? Okay, so that's
But
why
it's
he...
for the hospital area. So I'm just really upset because my husband looked like he was not well.
Yeah.
So I'm raising my voice and I'm like, each one of you are responsible because I told you not to allow it. And then in my brain, I started thinking of when Felicia would call me. She'd say, you know what they did? And she'd explain something, or one of her kids were bullied or something. I'm going to do this. And I would tell her, Felicia, be calm, pray about it, and react in a day or two. And then things will go better. And then I said, never mind that. This is all going on in my head. You guys, I can't believe that.
You were being convicted and ignoring your conviction.
That's the truth. That is the truth. So then,
I got to go back to where they put the stuff in.
Yeah, tell us about that.
yes.
Okay, so I'm in there and I have what do you call it?
IV.
IV. So they're going to put this nuclear stuff in me.
So they can see it.
It's
That's
a nuclear
like a
test,
dye or something.
So I don't have to do the treadmill. It stresses the heart,
Oh,
you know. And another thing, 2 different things they put in there.
okay.
Well, I've had that same thing done 20 years ago, and it was fine. This time, they said, the breathing, in 2 minutes, it'd be, you'd be breathing normal. You'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, the got warm, and then I started breathing heavy, and I was going, they said, take deep breaths, and so I did, and they said, it'll last maybe a minute or maybe 2 minutes. So I was going, it wasn't too bad, for 2 minutes, and by the end of 2 minutes came on, I was going really heavy breathing, and
Like you were struggling to breathe?
yeah, starting to breathe heavy, really heavy, and it kept getting worse and went on and on. It probably went on for about a half an hour.
Oh, wow.
So as it gets worse, I'm going, and coughing in between because I was sucking in so hard trying to get air, And I mean,
Were you
I did that for over a half hour.
were you sitting up during this
No,
test?
I don't know. I was laying down. I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know though. I don't even remember what. Yeah, I was laying down. I was on a bed.
Okay.
On one of those.
Weren't they concerned with this heavy breathing, or is this
Oh,
common?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Oh.
I'm gasping for air, and then I hear the lady called for the heart doctor to come in, and it said we need you because I was getting severe. I had a severe, not an allergy attack. I've asked about that. A severe reaction to the stuff they put in me.
Wow.
And so then the heart doctor says, well, I got about 5 minutes to do cigarette before I come in. She says, okay, she hangs up, and I'm getting really bad now. So then they call the
Heart doctor again.
They called the heart doctor and said, we don't have 5 minutes. You better get here right now.
Yeah.
And then it's about the same time they called the
crash cart.
Yeah, the rapid response thing team, rapid response team. The code blue. That's when your heart is stopped. Rapid response is when it's about to stop.
And where were you during this? You were getting ready to leave the hospital because you had no idea this was going on?
No. I had no idea.
So
wow.
I saw him after.
Yeah, okay.
So anyway, about 30 people came and they get all the people they can get to free up and to get in there to start doing things for me, you know, because they knew that I could die any minute. And then when they get them all in there, I heard them all come in, but I couldn't open my eyes and I couldn't speak. And now I'm starting to shake all over like this. I mean, worse than that. And I couldn't stop. And I had, if you have your hand go to sleep and the cold and it starts hurting, like hammer's hitting it, that's the way I felt over my entire body.
Oh, wow.
My entire body was in that much pain. But you know what? Inside I had perfect peace. I thought I was going to die, but I was peaceful with it.
So you weren't panicked during all this?
Not panicked with dying. I was perfect peace.
You're ready.
Panicked with the pain.
Yeah.
Tremendous pain.
Oh.
And I kept trying to talk. That's all I could get out of between coughs, you know.
They give you nitroglycerin.
Yeah, the first thing they did is give me a nitroglycerin.
Help the heart.
But they kept all the essential people, is what they call them, that were there, and they sent all the others back. So they left about 20 people there, and they're all working on me, doing different things. I don't know what they were doing. The only one I know is when I did get my mouth open and put my tongue out, even though I couldn't talk, and they squirted that nitroglycerin under my tongue. That was the first thing they did.
What about all the numbers and what they were saying?
I don't remember the numbers.
You were saying, I heard them saying numbers of this and...
Oh, yeah, all kinds of numbers, you know, something, I don't know.
So much of this, so much of that,
Yeah.
get it in.
They were all doing things and going on, and I'm still gasping, and I trying to talk to the doctor saying I'm dying, and he knew I was trying to say something, but so he got his head right down by my mouth, and I went, I'm going to die. Just about like that. It's about that all about as loud as I can get. He says, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. We got you. And then he keeps saying, stay with us now. Stay with us. Stay with us. And I'm hearing all the other people doing all their things and so forth. And and then it was shaking real bad. I was trying to, I just happened to say, do I have, am I having a seizure? I do have a seizure. And he got seizure out of it. He says, no, you're not having a seizure. You're not having a heart attack. We got you. Now, hang with us. Hang with us. Hear all these other people going. Then all of a sudden, dead silence. I mean, just like you turn a switch and everything stopped. Every sound, there was not a sound in the room. And I thought, oh, that doesn't sound good. Into my mind, you know.
Yeah.
Still gasping. That real hard gasping for air. I really thought I was going to die any second. But I was in peace with it. It didn't bother me, that part. But the pain was so tremendous. Yeah. And trying to get air is horrendous. Trying to get air, when you can't hardly get it, is horrendous. And so then, when the silence went for a little bit, I tried to get an eye open, so I could see what was going on, because it really kind of bothered me. Not afraid, but kind of bothered what's going on. So I finally got this eye here open a teeny bit, and a person right about over here about in that chair. I saw her, she was like this.
Why?
I don't know. And then I saw 2 or 3 others the same way during that dead silence. Same thing. And then my eye went shut. I couldn't open it anymore. I never did find out what that was. I wanted to ask him what happened when that dead silence came and these people were going,
Yeah, really.
and that was held on for maybe 10 or 15 seconds, you know? So I don't know what they were saying. That was, maybe my heart stopped or something. I don't know. Something was bad when that look I gave. I'm not exaggerating. So anyway, after a while, they finally got to some kind of a point, and I don't know what he was saying. Something he said was that gave me the feeling they were, the color's going back or something. But anyway, they were over this point. And they said, okay, we're over the point, or it's not that word, something else. Says you folks can go on back to your stations, pack it up. And he said, I'm going to get him back to his room. And but I was still shaking real hard. But by the time he started wheeling me out toward the room, I quit shaking. But I still couldn't see or couldn't talk. That's when we went by her, and she tried to say, why didn't he talk to me? I could hear her, everything she said, you know, but I couldn't respond. You know, I could move. I think I could anyway. I don't know. I don't remember.
You weren't.
Well, maybe I couldn't then.
So then when they wheeled you in
So when they wheeled me in the room, they came through the door with the bed that they took me out in, and put me back in the room. And as soon as the bed stopped in its space, it was just like me turning a switch in the middle of my body, and all that tremendous pain left.
Oh, wow.
Immediately was gone. And over here it came at the same second from tremendous pain to, I'm feeling really good.
Oh, wow.
Just in 1 second.
Wow.
I felt, I'm getting goosebumps at how good I felt.
Yeah.
I felt really wonderful, and I still do.
Yeah.
And before that, I couldn't even hardly walk.
Wow.
But that was horrendous. So.
And you went for a walk.
Then I went for a walk.
Mind you, on Wednesday, he could not stand up.
Oh, really?
He could not.
2 people would pick me up and hold me up, and if they'd let go of me, I would have gone straight to the floor because my legs were like rubber.
He had no strength. When I came in Wednesday morning,
like jello.
He was pale, and his voice was weak.
Wow.
He couldn't stand on his own.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. Let me
Sounds
tell
like
you.
it.
So tell her about what you were telling me in that scripture and stuff.
So Friday morning I come in, and the cardiologist is there. First, this young doctor comes in that's working, and he goes, hi, I'm just the doctor for right now. I mean, he's just out of school.
He was brand new.
You could tell he was new and didn't
Real
really
young.
know what to tell people, because he said, you do have a blockage. And it's kind of like, you know, if you block off your finger for so long, for days, and all of a sudden it rots and falls off, that's what's happening. And I'm like, you know, typically I would be, are you kidding me talking like that?
Yeah.
But I just thought, that guy is so nice, and he tried so hard, and he'll learn.
Yeah.
He'll learn. So then the cardiologist comes in. He's a new one they just hired. It starts with the S, and he is amazing. And he explained, yes, you do have a blockage. It's not severe, it's little. And it could kill that little part of your heart, which would make it, you know, your echo would show a little decline again. But he had a PE, so a third of his lung was killed, and it didn't rot and fall off. So, you know, and his heart's not going to rot and fall off.
That's good.
He said, but I can do surgery right now. We can go through your wrist, and we'll get rid of that clot. And I'm just like, no. He says it's a big risk. It's for your age especially.
Yeah.
You know, it's a risk for someone younger. So anyway, then he left. And I was sitting kind of where you are, and I was looking at Donald, and I said, you know what, Donald? The Lord is holding you in the palm of his hand. Nothing's going to happen to you that the Lord doesn't know. Everything will work together for good. And I said, and he's numbered your days. And I said, so we just need to rest in that and just no more. Just rest in that. It's not going to make your days one day longer to have any of that. And just let's rest in Him. And then he starts saying,
As soon as she
this
stopped,
feeling, a warm
honey,
feeling.
I'll tell her that part.
Oh, I love
Okay.
it. Go ahead.
So as soon as she stopped that, it was just like a bolt of lightning hit my head. A powerful, powerful thing came over my whole body. The whole body. And it was, I mean, I don't have the vocabulary to tell you how powerful it was or how good it felt. You couldn't buy drugs any place in this world and take and would come anywhere close to feeling as good as this feels right now. I was crying and laughing at the same time.
And the warm.
And I'm telling you, it felt so good. It was so powerful.
And he was saying
over
this
my body.
warm feeling and peace.
Yeah, but it was wonderful.
The
Oh.
peace.
It was almost so strong, I don't know if I could have handled it too long.
Was this the same thing you felt that one time years ago where you
Yes,
asked God to show him how
after that.
much he loved you, I think? Was
No,
that
was
when we
mine.
had a head-on collision with a motorhome.
And
Oh.
the peace. He felt so much peace.
So I
yesterday.
started singing, and I was crying. I was saying, "Peace, peace, wonderful peace, coming down from the Father up."
That's what he was doing, crying. And it's just this warm, wonderful,
Oh wow,
peaceful,
wow!
powerful feeling.
I don't know where I'd get a word that could tell you how powerful and wonderful it was.
And then you said, I think.
Oh, I think God just came right through me
Wow.
and healed me.
He'll just,
Heal my heart on the way. I feel that.
Amen.
Amen.
Wow.
You just can't imagine the power. It just had to be, had God right inside my body, even more so than normal.
How long did it last?
About 2 minutes. Not long enough.
Were you sad when it left you?
Yeah. But I was rejoicing for a long time afterwards. Oh, it was so wonderful.
But here today, Donald since Wednesday has experienced 3 miracles. The 3 miracles were, he didn't die,
Yeah.
because the nurse came in and said, I can't even tell you how close to death you were.
Yeah.
I can't believe you made it.
That's why they had the look on their face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the second one was when he still had all the pain and was feeling terrible and he could hardly move, and it was like a switch went off and the pain went away and he wanted to go for a walk. Couldn't even stand up the
Immediate
day
change in
before.
the whole body. I mean, miraculous.
And then when the Lord just filled him Friday morning with his love, his peace, and
That's
his
3.
power, that's the third one.
Wow.
And we're very thankful to Jesus.
Thankful, very thankful.
Wasn't Donald P's story amazing? And when you say his name, it's Donald P. Heavy on the P. And P is not initial for his last name either. It's a long story, but Donald P is quite the character, and he's very special. Everybody loves him. He does not have a mean bone in his body. I've never heard the man say a mean thing about anybody, to anybody. I don't hear him gossip. He is just an amazing, strong pillar of faith. And his wife is so close to him, and she loves him so much, and she'd do anything for that man. So together, Sue and Donald P. are just an amazing couple, and everybody that gets to meet them loves them. What is there not to love? They really show us who Jesus is. They're very good about letting us realize what Jesus would be like to other people. And I'm so thankful that I got to meet them when I moved here, and that they've become very close to me. So my request from you all, and thank you so much for watching everything, my background extra information, and Sue and Donald P. I need your help. So I keep questioning, did God want me to create this podcast, or am I creating this podcast for my own benefit? I love the show and I love connecting to other people. But when you're a podcaster, a YouTuber, or audio-based podcast, you don't hear from people that often, so you can't tell if you're actually doing any good or if people really even care. I can get numbers to see how many people download and how many people watch, but it doesn't really tell me anything. So I need you to, if you're in YouTube, go down to the comments and let me know why you watch my show. Is there something that you get out of Walking with the Chosen that you would like to see it continue? Maybe you really like the interview style. Maybe you really like me doing the show recaps. Maybe you wish I would do recap episodes more often. Maybe you want them shorter. Maybe you want them longer. So if you're in YouTube, go to the comments. If you're in Facebook, go to Walking with the Chosen and join the group if you're not in it already, but share your comments in the group. Or if you're on Instagram, you can go to walkingwiththechosen_podcast and you can just send me a private message there. It would just help me know, what is it that people want from the show? Am I helping you get closer to Jesus because I shared some scriptural references in the show? Or am I just pointing you to a show and have I already recapped the same thing that other YouTubers recap or other podcasters recap? I just want to make sure that I'm doing something that God wants me to do and that is meaningful to others. And that's what I'm struggling with. So if you could please help me out with that, it would mean so much to me. And I'm really relying on you guys to help me, because if I don't hear from anybody, I'm going to be like, well, I guess nobody watches or listens. I don't care what those numbers say. There's nobody there. So just help me out. Help me know which direction I should go. And I really appreciate your feedback. I'm sorry that I'm in the wind right now. The wind is blowing all over me. So thank you so much for being here and for taking the time to answer my questions. And thanks for watching the show. And I'm just happy to hear from anybody at any time, and join the Facebook group and let's get connected. All right, I'm getting out of this wind before I blow away. Happy Mother's Day, and I will talk to you all soon.